All right, and as promised by Dee, we are back with our final segment for today on Entertainment Thursday, and this is all about the trending stories that have been hitting the social media streets with a bang. Some of them have found their way on mainstream media, but these are just some of what we picked up from the socials, and we welcome you to share with us your thoughts. Hashtag Ni Good Morning Kenya at KBC Channel 1 is our official station handle. My handle is Jain Wambui. My colleagues, they are at Doreen, Arange, and at Manyara. We are officially into our Udaku Sesh segment, and before we get into it, we need to get into character. So hold on. Nitoe mashisho makawaida.
Allah.
Are you ready? Mko tayari? Disclaimer, mukiona nimeangalia off camera, mjue disioni. Okay? Just bear with me.
Mbona unajipatia stress na una this?
We are in character.
Ai, hata kawa.
We are in full character. So, let me start with this story that is sort of trending, borderline, showing us a serious problem that there is in society. And this is about a Form 2 student who was chased home due to school fees balance. The balance was 34,000 Kenya shillings. Akafukuzwa, akaenda nyumbani. Akaambiwa na the school admission, by the way, you just come with anything that will help you pay this balance. He has been struggling here and there as per what information that has been put out there. Amekuwa akistruggle to just get the money that he needs for school. Issues to do with uniform, shoes, and he even gets a uniform from other students, the old ones. That's what he has been surviving on. So he went home, akatafuta namna, ya kaona kuku. And from his mom, she told him that that cockerel is worth 1,000 bob, and that is what he took to school to help offset part of his balance. Akaambia wase, this is what I have for now. This white cockerel, it's worth 1,000 bob as per the market price. Therefore, nikona balance at 33K as of now. Dee, let me start with you, man. When you hear of this story, one, how do you feel about it?
I think it's that, for me, I take it as that aspect of determination. Why I'm saying that is because the other day, actually just was yesterday, when we were reading from the papers that now school heads or principal are in a tussle. Why? Because the government said that there needs to be a smooth transition. Of course, from those living class 8, going to Form 1, Form 2, and all that, which puts the principals and school heads at a pickle, because there are some parents who actually could afford, but wanasema tu gava imesema, wako like, okay, we'll see what we can do. There are those who are actually, who genuinely cannot afford, and this could be that case, because if the fee was 34 and the corporate was going for 1,000 bob, and akuambia sasa imebaki 33K, with all honesty and all genuinity, clearly that is the mark that imebaki. I'm looking at this case as that case of determination, that hakuna kitu itani hold back.
Yeah,
nothing is about to deter me from getting education if that is what I want. So whatever I'll need or whatever I'll have to do, I'll do it. And that reminds me, when I was in campus, we had those students where, you know, what was it called? Unafanya kazi ndio ilipe, unafanya kazi tu kwa shule, unapata kama ni kusafisha hapa na pale, kusaidia mtu administration.
Yeah, I'm trying to also remember that word.
The name has gone a bit, but when I remember, I'll tell you. Like, you see the student doing everything they could, even a course that would take about 4 years, for them would take like 6 years, just cause at the end of the day, if I had to do all this other side and menial jobs just to get fees, I will do this. And I think for me, this is, you know, it's something good, because, I mean, education is, if you can get a chance to go to school, and if you can get parents or guardians who can train you and put you through school, you need to appreciate that, because there are those out here who are doing everything, and I'm telling you everything, to just be in school, to get an education, to get a paper, to, you know, to just be somewhere there when it comes to matters academics. So for me, for this Form 2 student,
big up.
Manze.
All right, let me come to you, Ray. No, showing up to school with a cockerel to just help your parents offset part of the school fees balance. What do you feel about this?
It's I wanted to look at the paper on Monday, and I think this story was highlighted in one of the dailies, and alongside it there was a child, another student, reporting to school having been dropped in a chopper. For me, that was a glaring difference in where we are as a society. There are those who are way at the top, and there are those who are struggling at the bottom. But some things are common denominators, like the need for education,
Yes.
the need to do better. And for lack of a better word, that family, that boy, has shown us that it doesn't matter where you are today. Where you are today is totally not going to tie you down to where you want to be if you keep the focus and the zeal. Your background doesn't matter.
Yeah.
What you have in your pocket doesn't matter. What matters is, are you determined to attain what you crave for? What are you willing to do to get to where you want to be?
Yes.
Yeah. So for me, that was just another case to just show us how some people struggle in life, but the difference between those people who fall on the wayside, or rather who get derailed from achieving their dreams, the difference is the focus and the zeal. So I was quite encouraged by that story. It doesn't really matter where you have been or where you are. The point is, you are on this journey headed where?
It's all in the details, such little things that
Yeah.
people might look at and be like, "Ay, bro, jogo." Acha niende home. I remember back in high school, ilikuwa kwa season ya watu wanafukuzwa na school fees, unangoja kusikia kajina yako iko kwa list.
Unafurahi ni aje?
Unafurahi. Guys would look forward to those times when list ikikuja kusomwa, you chomoka. And yet here there is a Form 2 kid, Matthew Simiu, just trying to do as much as he can to just stay in school. So moral of the story, do all you can to stay in school. Imagine when you're done with school, utakuwa unajiuliza ni nini nilikuwa ninakataa kusoma. Unafikanga that age, you're like, bro, you sit unajitoa
what was the issue?
You guys, for me, I had a different narrative.
Yeah.
I never wanted to go home.
Hiya.
Honestly.
For real?
But my brothers were, and I don't know, I'm sure they're at work. They watching. Wacha nichome, nikoshua wako kazini mahali. But all my brothers, and I come from a family of lots of brothers, have all snuck from school at some point.
Yeah.
At some point. But I always I think it's because what my mom told me. My mom told me there's nothing under the sun or the moon that would keep her from disciplining me if I got indisciplined. It doesn't matter how old I get. It doesn't matter how big or how tall I get. If she needs to smack me, she will smack the daylights out of me.
Even at this age.
And besides, actually my mom told me, and I remember she told me this in Form 3 after a serious thrash because of getting late to arrive back at home. Our curfew hour was at 5:59 p.m. She told me, for as long as I gave birth to you, I am the only person who has a right to murder you. And that stuck. And that stuck. But you can bet Jain and Doreen, mimi siwezi beba kuku. The kuku itself is a problem. Give me a rabbit, give me something. Don't give me a chicken. Those things are ugly.
The kuku too, you don't have a good relationship.
And those things are
when it's live.
No, give me something else. Just not a chicken.
But
or
I
a
think,
cock, for that matter.
But I think honestly the moral of this story, not just from the aspect of that school setup, that do whatever you can to get in school, and Wambui, that was a very good statement there, but I think it's all about, oh darling, I got you.
All right.
But I think it's all about in this life,
Yes.
sometimes you can be incapacitated in whatever area. It doesn't really have to be that aspect of fees. This is just what we're getting on the context. But whatever you can do to actually achieve your dreams in this life, as long as it's in the right context, just do it.
All right.
Yeah.
Now, what do you guys think about this story? We welcome you to share with us your thoughts. And as you do that, watching your vocation boda kidogo, twende Nigeria. And this is something that we talked about a while back with you, Ray. Story ya kutuma fare. So
Hiyo mambo haijaishanga bado.
haijaishanga na ilianzanga way before we found it. So there's this chick, the video has actually been doing rounds on the socials. There's this Nigerian chick, she got into a cab going to wherever she was going, and she knew Bay ata come through alipe fare. Si wakafika mali wanaenda,
Bei akaua.
anaanza kupiga simu, Monday mashiki, akapiga Monday mashiki, akaambia the cab guy, hey, ni just see you try calling him, maybe atashika yako agotumie fare. The dude did not respond to her calls. An hour later, that's when the cab driver actually started recording her. Akimwambia, madam, now me they bring you here. Now you they refuse to pay me. Give me my money.
Be
I want to
Nigeria.
go. Yes. I don't know, Ray. The story I go to my
Personally, sijai kula fare. Sijai kula fare.
Sema Ray anakaa kukula fare.
Let's
just remember that debate.
Well, you know, the question is, I hate that business with the fare business. I really don't advocate for it. I come from a school of thought that if a woman wants to come see you or wants to be in your company, at least for the first date, she will make an effort to get there. Don't sell yourself short, even for a man.
Yeah.
And I find it very immature, and I'm saying this with a lot of confidence. Why would you even be doing a pin, dropping a pin, sending a cab to that person and picking them to where you want them to be? If she wants to come over, she will. Man, she will. Yes, please stop this fair thing.
She's great.
And I'm also thinking,
yeah,
what happened to those decent men who, if it's a date, they come pick you for Pete's sake?
Kama ana gari.
Akuje tupande matatu.
So akuja mpaka
Lakini si arongai.
We madzorongai zi. You know, my issue is
matatu ya rongai.
The fact that
let them come get you, Jane. Let them come get you.
No, that's okay whether he comes to get you or he sends a cab to pick you. My issue is Udem alikuwa ground zero and she couldn't get herself out of that situation.
Na nani alikuambia unaenda na date bila pesa kwa mfuko? Like, really?
Nauli mtu anaita boyfriend. D.
Where are you going on a date without anything to buy yourself? Even
my boyfriend said he
or
would
even
pay
get
the
you
fare.
there. No. Never trust that much, Doreen. Mimi nasema tafadhali, trust issues are very important. Ona sasa huyu alizunguka na cab. Embarrassment. Now we are discussing about her situation all the way in Kenya from Nigeria. Beba pesa yako kwa mfuko. Yeah, please. Security begins with you. Even our very own president, and this is on a lighter note, President Uhuru Kenyatta told us that security begins with you. Tafadhali, take that very seriously.
Jitegemee.
Jitegemee, yes.
For me, I won't say much because I mean, ideally, niyo jitegemee. But I'd want to say this. You see, when Wambui, you said that this is that boyfriend. I think a boyfriend is just a boyfriend. If you're a girlfriend, you're just a girlfriend. Also, I feel like that at some point when we are in these relationships, we tend to put a lot of responsibility to someone when they're not in that level yet. And then you are dating. I think for the when you're still calling yourselves boyfriend and girlfriend, you are still in that place of bado kuna ile kujuana tunajuana, kuna hiyo kujuana. So if
but
we
you're
are
testing the waters, unaingiza kwa mguu.
Well, yes and no per se, but I mean, in that kind of space or in that kind of setup, you really need not to put those kind of responsibilities. Why am I saying that? Because uchali kama angelipa fare hiyo day, hiyo ndio ingekuwa trend. Even ndio ingekuanga tu like on dates. Oftentimes that is how it would have been. So for me, I feel like, especially if you're coming to relationship and it's really for the long haul, you are actually there to stay. Some things just do it for yourself, because also there's that level of respect you create for yourself in that man. I mean, on that man, kuna venye tu anakuona, anakubeba. So hata kama ufanyi job, kuna venye tu you can just be doing some things for yourself. Si kila kitu ufanyiwe kwa relationship.
Hata wewe a boy child one day, unajua? Jesus.
Shock them.
Why would you go on a date without anything in your pocket?
Hata umetokelezea hapo manze. Ako anajua.
Well, speaking of surprising, there's another one that went to surprise the boyfriend. Akakuwa surprised. Hiyo ni next week. But honestly, just looking at this situation, I think it goes back to even what is a boyfriend and what is a girlfriend? Like,
definition.
At what point do you move from casually talking to spending on each other to the next stage to sleeping over to engagement to, I think those lines are so blurred because squeezy boyfriends are treating their girlfriends as wives, girlfriends are treating their boyfriends as wives, as husbands for that matter. The lines are so blurred. So we are najua, as long as we are dating, bro, you are sustaining me financially. Like for this, in this particular case, you know, adi akakuwa na hiyo confidence, anaenda akio ground zero, anajua Monday ata come through.
Because why not sit on a date?
Let me ask you, why would a farmer be paying for the price of a cow and he's already getting the milk? I'm just asking.
You know?
Yeah. And I think Wambui, before we go to the next topic,
yes,
that statement that Regina always mentions anytime we do trending topics, because you never miss something about relationship, inafaa ikuwe inasemwa kila saa.
Lakini pia Re, unakumbuka kale ka video you were telling me about Steve Harvey akisema nini?
You need to put a value onto yourself, and it's not supposed to be 50-50. It can be 85-15 because every one of us actually came forth from a woman. But the point also, as a woman, you need to know one thing.
Yes.
Right? And it's even in economics of scale. You're told what you invest is what you get, right? So man, I'm already getting without investing. Why should I invest? I'm already having the milk, the yogurt, the ghee, what else? The cheese and such. Butter, I'm already receiving all this. Why should I now invest in the cow?
Even I'm just asking for free.
Oh, this is that is something my aunt told me. And man, she has lived for a while in this. And because earth is hard right now. Nasema, if you have been giving the yogurt, the milk, the ghee, the what, kindly, ata wewe sema supply imeisha kwa sasa. Let's see where we are going with this milk business. Is it a worthy investment? Do you want to actually own the dairy company? You know, they may not want to own the company. They might just want to have the milk, the ghee, the ghee and such.
Without giving the tender.
Without even signing for the tender. Leave alone giving the tender, rewarding the tender.
Tunaongea sort of in parables, but I know the message is home.
Yeah, this is national television. This is national broadcasting. This is KBC. We need to be, you know.
All right. You can also, again, share with us your thoughts in regards to this story. Now, let me take you to the next story. Na hii nataka kusikia sana sana Manyara. Daughter of Manyara. Woo! What you have to say about this?
Okay.
So there's this lady. I'm reserving names, you know, from the West. We all love our children's birthdays. It's a big deal for us as parents. You know, okay, first birthday, by the way, if you are a young mom or you are about to celebrate your child's birthday, ya kwanza ni birthday yako. The kid will not be bothered, okay? Both of mine have slept on their birthdays. But just looking at your child's birthday, it's a big deal for you. You always look to do something for them. And the more they grow, the more you want to do things for them that make sense to them. So this lady wanted to gift her child. When they're famous, by the way. So when they were interviewed, the kid thought they saw a truck coming in. So she thought she's getting a trampoline. She's 9 years. She thought she's getting in because she thought. She thought she was getting a trampoline for her 9th birthday. Excitos. Looking forward to just remove that cover, only for her to find a Mercedes Benz.
9.
MG 350. Why would you buy a 9-year-old a Mercedes Benz?
You have it, why not?
Ama hizo ni first world problems.
Yay.
Zenye hatuwezi elewa juu tuko developing.
Wow.
I mean,
I have so many answers to that. I'm trying to, you know, be the devil's advocate in this.
Does it make sense for such grand gifts at such a young age?
My question is, whose gift was it? Was it for the adults in that family? The mom,
the 9-year-old girl.
Yes, what I'm trying to say is that was not an age appropriate gift. It was more a gift, in quotes, for the parents so that they can trend or otherwise, because they have made the headlines, really. The gift was not age appropriate for their daughter, no matter the reason. Oh, love, it's the birthday. A 9-year-old, well, they may be learning how to drive, but the last I checked, there is no country, international or otherwise, that has a driving license for a 9-year-old. Right? So they'll have to take a few years before they can actually take the car out for a ride. What would have been more appropriate as a gift, you know? Something that they can relate with. And then this goes out to show that sometimes us as adults, us as parents, do things not because out of love, but we want to create a star. We are doing it because of the attention it will bring to our parenting skills. You know, the talk of town, man, I gifted my daughter a Benz.
And it costs 29 million Kenya shillings.
Jesus, hizo ni shamba ngapi pale Kamura? I'm just looking at the shambas now that I would have, you know. Anyway, those are first world problems, but now I'm talking about what we do for our children, not for them, but for the society to view us as better parents or good parents. For me, that is what it comes out as. Because if this baby was actually asked what they want, they've already said they were expecting a trampoline. Because it's something that they can play in and have their friends play in together. Now a Benz, for Pete's sake. I'm a Benz girl. I love Benz. But I'm wondering,
because honestly, anafanyia nini? You know, and Regina has said it very well, because at 9 years old, really utafanyia. And you know, that point of even perhaps some parents who would want to do that just for attention or to be seen of how they're providing for their kids or how they're doing everything that their kids want. Really, are you looking at the kind of space you're putting this child into? The kind of perhaps conversation that you're making people have about this child, and this child even growing up. Hiyo ndo pia mindset unawekea. That is the mindset you're putting for them. You know, that life is perhaps all about that. It's all about that luxury, all that. And it's not bad. If you have, it's not bad. But to what extent? My whole point is, to what extent? There's nothing wrong with getting your kid a car if you can, but let it be age appropriate. To the extent is just what I'm looking into. Because if this kid was perhaps 19 or 20, I mean, it's well in. If you can afford as a parent, it's well in. But at 9, just for attention, to be talked about.
Well, so many people had so much to say about this. Some saying she's gifting her kid Benz, and while guys in Southwest Sydney are struggling to just have a meal a day. Talk about spoiled kids. Glad she didn't ask for a plane. Then someone did say, yay, it had a bow. It had a bow on the bonnet when it arrived. Someone else says, does it come with a driver to take her around during this COVID times or what? Someone else was saying, oh, the kid now actually she has an Instagram account.
The kid?
Yes. Let me see. No, let me start with the mom's account, saying, all I'm saying is I hope I'm around when she turns 16 to see what she will be up to with this car.
So
somebody else went on to say, I hope when she turns 16, I sincerely hope she's a polite and humble human being and not the opposite of this sort of expectation from the people that will have of her.
You see, that's what I was saying. There's that, by what you're doing, you're already exposing that child, that they expect now for her or for him to be humble enough. But already whatever you're planting in them may not really depict humility.
Lakini ni shida ya mtoto ama ni shida ya mzazi?
Hiyo ni shida ya mzazi, si ya mtoto.
Tukisema ukweli.
Hiyo ni shida ya mzazi. Sometimes we try and overcompensate for absenteeism, not being there for their children when we need them, when they need us. So we try and overcompensate, you know,
with
either we buy them electronic gadgets, or take them to expensive places. We buy them unnecessary stuff to try and overcompensate for our failures as parents and guardians. But what you fail to understand is that at some point that the only thing you can be able to do for your son or your daughter, for that matter, or a ward who is in your charge, will just require just you listening. There are times when the money and the influence will not solve the problems that these children will find themselves into or in. They will just need your guidance, your love, your presence, you listening. But unfortunately, a majority of us parents are learning well into the game when we really cannot change our behaviors, when overcompensating, when a child has missed you, has not seen you for 2 weeks, you're nowhere. You're nowhere. You're there, but you're not there. They have not seen you, then you come back heavy laden with goods and goodies, trying to just try and, you know, make them feel that they're still loved. But what they really needed, maybe they were bullied in school.
Yeah.
That week you were absent. They wanted mom to sit down and listen and even take appropriate action, but you never was there. You weren't there, but you come bearing gifts. Then what? They go to high school. The same thing happens. They get into campus. And that's where the rubber hits the road for a majority of children right now.
Yeah.
When they're young adults, they do not have the values, they do not have the support. Because after all, if I call mom right now or dad and tell them I'm in a fix, they'll just ask me, how much?
Imagine.
How much? And money is wired to your account. But sometimes it's not about money. Do you have time to relate with me as your child? Do you have time? Are you listening? We overcompensate and lose our children
in the process.
Yes.
Yeah, and you see, just from what you're talking about, it reminds me of how we keep saying about this generation of ours, the kind of people that we've become. Tunasema kwanza tumefikiria point sisi tuko na tu audacity. We've got nothing else, you know. But you see, sometimes you sit even with kids of this time, of our time, and they'll tell you, for me, I had everything I wanted in life, but I only lacked my mom or my dad to sit down with me to have conversations, even conversations about life, how to deal, how to manage, how to handle things. You know, that's training. Because the way Ray is trying to put it is very correct. You call your mom, sometimes you call your dad, the first thing they ask is how much. Maybe they feel like, okay, you've got into trouble, or maybe you just have issues with money. But sometimes you just call them and you just want to have a conversation. And you see, I feel like everything about life boils down to this conversations that we actually sit and talk. For this kid that we're building this context on, yeah, something very simple. Something very simple, but the parents felt, maybe when I was growing up as a parent, I didn't have this, so I will give my child this. Atakamako 2 years. But of what benefit?
To what end? Now, as we bring this segment to a close, let me just read some feedback in regards to some of the stories that we have sampled. Let me start with Sam Bulo on Twitter, who's saying the analogy of a cow and its milk is not apt. That is a mentality. This is what drives men to cheat. Alafu women start crying of your kumbe. It's their own doing. Relationships ni kuongea. Then there is another one, Al Hassanat, saying, watching from Misiola, what's up? Anasema, kindly visualize marriages as a covenant where 2 or more individuals are involved. Mostly marriages involve a lot of giving, taking, sitting on emotions, and mostly sacrificing for the children. Therefore, let us envision on the positive traits of this noble union. Tukifunganga.
Marriage is a covenant.
Well, I think let's just put a cap at that particular point. We have thoroughly appreciated interacting with you guys, sharing with us your thoughts. Some of this feedback go way back to our second segment rather, which was in the headlines, commenting about, you know, issues to do with relationships these days. We're seeing so many people ending up with suicide or killing each other due to relationship quarrels here and there. But nonetheless, we appreciate you for interacting with us here, being with us from the start up until now. We appreciate that. I am Jain Wambui. Have a lovely day. Do enjoy the rest of your viewing.
And I'm Doreen Orange. Good morning.
I'm Regina Manyara. Well, do what you have to do because this is a new day to do better.
We out.